It's no accident that sounds like you're leveling up in a video game. 48% of 18 to 29-year-olds have an online dating profile.
Make them work for it.
45% of people say they're more frustrated with this form of dating than hopeful.
There are so many people you can connect with.
Should I swipe right?
Swipe wrong. Swipe wrong. Setting the record straight on dating apps. Everyday people telling everyday stories of the swipe right world with your host, Chaos.
Well, I know he had a good time.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, as you know how it goes, good night. Whenever you want to listen to the show, we're not going anywhere. We're going to be right there for you, whether it's on any podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Podchaser, Podcatcher, Podfriender, whatever it is. Or of course, if you want to take a look and see what we're looking like, and if we're looking a little rough, like I chipped myself shaving, so you can see the dagger on me there. You can check us out on YouTube, which seems to be the most preferred platform, which everybody should be a part of. Take a look, see what we got. Welcome to the podcast, the number one podcast amongst people who are out there just doing the best they can to break the bed. I am that guy. I am that guy for sure, especially today. I am your host. I am Chaos. Welcome to the Swipe Wrong podcast. This is the show where we've done all we can to try to bring the stories to life for you. Everything we can. And it is brought to you by whoever wants to sponsor us, but it's produced by Jay Pelham. He is the man behind the curtain, the great and powerful Oz. He makes this show go. But what I want to so here, follow, subscribe, tell your friends, tell me all your stories. Tell me all your stories. That's what I like to hear. And it's something organically has kind of happened since we've been doing this show for the past couple of years. Is when guests come on, God, I'm so grateful for their time. I really am. People are kind enough to share their experiences, to share what they're going through, the dates that they've been on, so that everybody else doesn't say, "Hey, this is happening to me." Only to me, it's happening to other people's too, and you can learn and grow and figure out what's best for you and pick up some better dating habits, maybe, or maybe you're doing it perfectly and you're sharing with other people. But I get to talk to all the people who've been on the show before. Most of them will tell me how their dating life is going now, or if they've met somebody, how that's going. And all of them say the same thing. Once they've met somebody, going through all the madness is completely and totally worth it. Sometimes that relationship ends too. And then you start the dating cycle back over again, which if you haven't heard that episode, definitely listen to the dating cycle episode. But what I get the privilege of doing is almost counseling and talking and listening and kind of helping people through some of their dating life and how it feels. And that may be the next step for Jay and I. I hate to call it coaching because it's more like we're teammates to help people through some of this. And I think that's the path that we're starting to go down and exploring that right now. But what really struck me is I had a couple conversations over the past 2 weeks where it was 3 different people, and there wasn't anything good coming out of their mouth about the dating experience, dating life. It was two females and one male, and both of them didn't have anything good to say about the other side of the equation, about what women are like and what men are like. And it was just like, it was so rough. And it was each one was probably about 20 minutes of a conversation of just pure defeatism. Like, they're just so defeated by the dating apps and the people on the other side, and just the quality of dates that they've been on. And so this episode, what I wanted to do is went over to the UK. I didn't actually travel there, thank goodness it was virtual, and hung out with what's now become what might possibly be Haydn, might be one of my new best friends. His outlook his positivity, just the way that he approaches things, very like-minded. And yeah, I wanted to talk to him just 'cause I felt like I know we get coaches on here often, sometimes more often than I would even like. But this one I thought was important because it just feels like the landscape. Maybe it's summer, people are out dating more in summer than they are winter. I know that sounds odd, but it just feels like the vibe out there right now is more of like eternal like damnation when it comes to the dating world than it does like eternal optimism. I strongly encourage, listening to the dating cycle episode that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. The niches, experiences over expectations, go into it and just think, I might have something really cool to learn from this person and something that I could pick up from. But anyway, so this episode, I'm talking to Haydn, and so sit back, relax, put your feet up, grab your popcorn, get it buttered, get caramel on there, whatever you're into with your popcorn. I don't know, a lot of cheese. I don't know. If you're in traffic, please be careful. Don't hit that person next to you. And just enjoy this episode, which we'll call our journey to the UK.
Disclaimer: the views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions or any entities they represent. This podcast is about dating experiences. It is not to say one dating app is better or worse than another.
So I guess where I would start, and I know, you're married, we talked about that a little bit off, is like, what's the dating app and dating situation like out there? Like, what apps? What's like? All right, let me walk back a little bit. I talked to a girl who was in Japan, and she was using the same apps like Tinder and Bumble and all that stuff. And she said the thing about Japan though is they can't put pictures of themselves on there, so you'd get like pictures of their horse and pictures of what they're eating. It was like banter from Ted Lasso, where you couldn't see the people, but you had to create the connection. So that's my curiosity to what it's like out there. And I'm sorry, where are you, by the way?
In the United Kingdom.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not in the dating game. I am married.
Yeah.
I used Tinder to find my wife.
Awesome.
We met on Tinder. Yeah, so it worked for me. I was the guy, I hated Tinder. I would download it because I was bored and I was on the toilet. And I was like, what can I do while I'm sitting on the dunny? And I hated it because I'm not photogenic. I don't look good on camera. So
you look great.
I wouldn't get many likes at all. I'd be like 1 in 1,000 would like me back. But I'd just sit there. I called it the running man. And I'd just go, yes, 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 yes. Because I didn't give a shit. I got catfished a couple of times.
Really?
I still went out on a date with them, but when they wanted to go back to my place, I said no. I still had fun, still took him out, still a gentleman.
Yeah.
And then I found my wife and I was like, damn, yeah, this girl's a hottie. Sweet,
nice.
Finally.
Nice.
Finally an attractive one. And we chat and we organized to date on the Friday night. So that week I go around to her house. I'm gonna cook her dinner. She's not home. So I'm like, hey, you're not there. She's like, oh, just let yourself in, the back door's open. I cook up some burritos, I run the bath, light some candles. She never let me leave.
Oh man, look at you. You had it figured out. You just had to find the right one.
Yeah, I had, mate. I did a dating course when I was about 23 years old. I was terrified of women when I was young. I was a virgin until I was 19. Lost my virginity in a brothel.
I love this dude.
Terrified of women, bro.
Really? Good. That's interesting.
Yeah, I did this dating course, and the guy said, yeah, whenever you go on a date, you got to have. You want to move through 3 locations or 3 events. You want to have something. You don't want it to get stagnant or stale, and you never want to leave on a low. So you move locations so there's stuff to talk about consistently. New environment, new stimulus.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So you've got to have like 3 separate things to do on each date, and then you make sure you leave on a high, so they want more. So, mate, I knew exactly what I was doing.
And that gave you the confidence then, right? That felt like you're like, hey, this makes sense.
Yeah.
I like that.
I wouldn't have found my wife if I hadn't done that course, for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, that's money. And
School of Attraction, if anyone's listening in Australia, School of Attraction, his name, I think, was Dominic Deek, something like that. Guy, amazing course. Like, would transform men. Yeah.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty badass, to be honest, because it took you so like as you were going through that course, and I imagine you were dating, you could kind of see it start to work and you feeling a little bit better about
Oh
things.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
bro. I'm like, I'm midway through the course, and I'm walking down the CBD of Sydney. There's people everywhere, and so you do 4 hours of training every week on this course. You go out
Mm-hmm.
with a mentor. So I had
Mm-hmm.
my mentor next to me, and he's teaching me stuff. And he's like, if ever a girl smiles at you, that's an open invitation to go say hello.
Okay.
And I look to the left, and there's this tall, beautiful blonde woman standing, leaning against a telegraph pole, and she smiled at me. And I just pushed this guy out of the way, walked straight over to her, started talking. That was a Saturday. She was back at my house on Tuesday and lived with me for a week. Phenomenal. She was Danish, stunning
Wow.
lady. Yeah,
Wow. Dude,
yeah. The
no
course was
kidding.
amazing. Yeah,
Like that one moment probably felt like, all right, I would have paid double for the course, right?
exactly. That moment changed my life. Yeah, that was
Oh,
phenomenal. That was like a dream, to
dude,
have this beautiful Danish woman back at my house
that
like
is,
that in a few days.
dude,
Yeah,
that's
unreal.
awesome.
I was not a player before that.
Yeah. So then
Yeah,
the lion was unleashed, right? So then you're out and you're like, all right, I got the secret sauce, and you're out. All right, I'm gonna go play
yeah,
Running Man and just see what happens.
yeah. I was dating three women at the time though, after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
And they all
finding
knew about it.
yourself.
Completely honest.
Yeah. Knew about it, we're
Yeah.
cool about it. Yeah, that's finding yourself, right? I mean, that's like, all right, so this is kind of who I am now, and this is like your personality comes out and you kind of identify who you are now, right?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, suppose. I don't know if I knew who I was yet, but it was
Okay.
definitely looking for it. Yeah,
I got you.
back then.
I got you. Dude, that's
Yeah.
cool. So how long you been married?
10 years. No, we didn't together 10 years, married 5 years.
Wow. Wow. No kidding. So that
Yeah.
was a while ago, and it's I mean,
Yeah.
just based on what you're saying on how your evening went, sounds like everything's still going fantastic.
I mean, it's probably been maintaining a marriage, having a marriage work's probably been the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. That
Really?
that and that and growing a business, I would say the two hardest things ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, by
Yeah.
far.
So
Yeah,
what's
you
the
married?
No, I tried it. Like it was one of those try before you buy things. Just kidding. Yeah, no, I was married. We probably were together too young, kind of grew apart. But she's still my best friend. Like when life happens and good or bad, she's one of the first people I call. She's single and she's got two kids, and they're like my niece and my nephew. So it just we
Oh,
kind of figure we love each other a little bit differently, but still want to be a big part of each other's lives. So either we didn't figure out that's what happens in marriage, you kind of start to love each other a little bit differently, or we were just like cancel Christmas and let's figure out the next phase of life. So, nah, not married, still out, going through the running man cycle and just trying to figure things out still.
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in my world, like, if I like ever did try to get serious, like it's funny how many women I've talked to over the years who've been like, "Oh, what you do this show about dating? You're just setting me up, right?" And then the other side of it is, how many women do you talk to for your show? That makes me uncomfortable. So it like the fun possible job gets in the way of it, but which is fine. If they got an issue, then that's an issue with my life. So be it.
Got it. Yeah, sweet. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, so it's
gotta
fun.
let you be you.
So what's the business?
Mindset coaching.
Okay. All right. So this is what I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of mindset. So tell me your philosophy, tell
Excellent.
me where it came from and let's roll.
Yeah. Oh, I hated myself. For
Really?
myself, I was a worthless piece of shit who'll never be loved, never have a place in the world. And like that mindset took me down the road of I was injecting drugs by 14 years old
Oh wow.
and drinking and I still drink.
Yeah, sure, sure.
not like not because I hate myself. You know?
Reasons
No, I
behind
just
it are
enjoy
different.
drinking.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
different. Yeah. Yeah. So I was this worthless piece of shit, and I saw this future. By 16, I'm going to die or end up in jail. And my stepmother comes into the shower. I'm in the shower, and I'm thinking, "What are you doing in here?" Opens up this DVD case with used syringes, tears running down the side of her face. Sits down on the bath and says, "I don't know why you're doing this to yourself. You've always been a good boy." And it just shook me, you know, like rocked my world. And I was thinking, like, what if she's right? What if she's right? I am this good person. I'm not this worthless piece of shit. What if I have this potential that people tell me I have? And what if I end up dead or in jail? Then I've just wasted all that.
Right.
And I was like, okay, well, that was enough to shift my perspective and stop hanging out with those friends that I was doing drugs with, and stop injecting drugs. And I think it saved my life. You know,
That's
like it set
awesome.
me on a new trajectory. I made new friends. I saw that I could be liked. I saw that people liked me. I didn't have to be a junkie.
Right.
I was like, holy shit, it's all in my head. All
Yeah.
of my behaviors were coming out of that perspective. And that those life changing moments, I don't know if it was luck or I was looking for it. I'm not sure, but people kept seeing potential in me and reinforcing it in me, and eventually it would be enough to shift my perspective. Kept happening until 30 years old. I still felt lost. I was like, man, how? Because I was a high school dropout. Like, how am I going to use this potential? Like, every company I work for does really well. They double in revenue, they increase their profit, the staff don't leave, everyone's happier. Like, I've got something going on. How can I use it? And it was actually literally the girl I met on the street that I was talking about on that dating course I was talking to one day, and she says, "You should go on this Facebook group of coaches and get some coaching and just see what turns up." And I didn't even know coaching existed. I didn't even know
Right.
it was an avenue that you could do. And so I did. I went on the group, put my name down. I was scared. I didn't really want to do
Sure.
it, but I
Sure.
thought, be bigger than your fear, Hayden. Put my name down, got some coaching, and I was like, you fucking kidding me that people will pay me to sit and talk and listen to them, and I can work anywhere in the world and work from home, and
Right.
it uses my ability of, you know, communicating and leadership, and I can continue to develop it, and there's no cap to how big I can grow. I was like, holy shit, I think I found my thing. And I just started, mate. I just went online, found a course, got studied up, started reading all the books, listening to podcasts,
Yeah.
like just studied coaching. And I'd already studied leadership and communication, all that stuff. Studied coaching, picked up my phone, went through my contacts, started calling people like, hey, I'm a coach. Would you like a complimentary coaching session? That was it, man. Yeah,
Really?
just went for it.
And how
Yeah,
long has it been? How long have you been doing it?
4 years now.
4 years. And it just keep it.
Yeah.
So the thing, one of the, well, many things I take from it. So like there's a whole bunch of sayings I have in my head. Like and some of them are the voices are in Spanish, some are in Dutch, you know, but most are in English. And I only speak English, so it's kind of fun. But like get comfortable being uncomfortable is one
Yeah,
that
it's a good
I
one.
love.
Mm.
And like when you talk about that, you're signing up for the coaching and you're like, well, or you know, the classes and it feels off and it feels awkward, but like that's one that's like if you do like when you're in your space and you're comfortable in your space, there's no growing, there's no moving forward.
Yeah.
But once you crave the uncomfortable, then you're going to test some limits and find out some more stuff. So that's what it sounds like you did in that space. And boy, it sure took off, huh?
Oh my God, man, it's amazing. Like the start of this year retired my wife, so now I have a full-time mum for my two kids.
Oh,
We
nice.
travel the world. We're off to Italy for 2 or 3 months over Christmas to skip the winter here in the UK, and I take my work with me. Like it's all over the phone. So
That's
I'm like
awesome.
my clients are loyal. I work with them for years. Like I still work with clients I started with 4 years ago. So they're committed to growth. They love what I do. They love what I provide. And so it's like this, yeah, man, it's phenomenal. It's amazing that I've created this life. Like it's a dream.
Yeah.
Really, it's a dream come true.
So as you're going through the research and as you're figuring out the coaching, what
Yeah.
were the like what's the podcast that you gravitated to the most? And like, was there a certain author, certain book that you read or listened to as well that you just gravitated to?
There are definitely books that had a huge impact on me and who I am now. The 7 Habits of Highly Successful
Sure,
People.
sure.
Um,
Yeah,
what
I
is
know
some
that one
other?
well.
There's Chris Voss. What's his book on negotiating? Not getting to yes. I forget. Chris Voss's stuff, that was excellent. There's a book called Motivational Interviewing. That book is phenomenal.
Okay.
That transformed my coaching. Crucial Conversations, that was a
Yeah,
big one.
didn't know
I
that
would
one
say
well.
it's just, ongoing education, just nonstop.
Yeah,
Looking to learn something every day. Yeah, everything adds and builds.
yeah. Just
Yeah.
absorbing
I'd say
content.
that just, man, take it in. Like, it's got to be in here before I can use it. If it's not
Sure,
in here, there's nothing I can do with it. So the more that's in here, the better.
sure.
But I'd say the biggest thing that made a difference was the Landmark Forum, which is a weekend course.
Okay.
That, bro, completely transforming. Yeah, that saved my marriage with my wife. Before I did that course, I was getting so angry with my wife, like I wanted to hurt her. And I'd never been that angry in my life. I'd never wanted to hurt anyone before. I was terrified. I was like, I can't be with her. Like, someday I'll probably lash out. Like, I'm getting way
Yeah,
too mad. So
yeah,
if I was like, man, if I can't sort this out, we're gonna have to split. I won't get to see my daughter anymore. My wife will go
yeah,
back to England. I'll go back to Australia. That's it. Family over.
yeah,
I was so lucky that someone introduced me to the Landmark Forum, and I saw what the problem was. I wasn't listening to my wife. When
yeah.
she started to get emotional, what I was hearing in my own mind was, she's a psycho, she's a psycho.
Sure,
you know?
sure, sure.
Yeah. And so I was reacting to my own thoughts, not actually being with my wife. And when I saw that, I was like, holy fuck, here I am saying that she's my wife, I love her, I'm the man for her. And yet I'm being this, like, defensive, aggressive, judgmental, righteous prick with her. Like,
Yeah,
I'm so out of integrity here. I'm the
yeah.
fucking issue. And I've been
Oh,
blaming her the whole time. Oh my God.
dude.
Dude, it blew me away. Massive
So
blind spot.
how many times, so this is intriguing to me. So how many times though, like when you've gone through coaching over the past 4 years, is the answer usually like I don't want to, I'm not trying to place
Always
blame,
me.
but internally, like, hey, like
Always me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's it feels
Yep.
like 99%,
Always.
right? Yeah,
I mean, every time it's me. Every
yeah,
time, no matter what it is, who I'm being or what I'm doing is causing the reality around me.
yep, yeah,
So when I turned up and I had the thought, my wife's a psycho, I become cold and
yeah,
defensive and aggressive.
yeah,
That impacts my wife and influences her, and then she becomes something.
yeah,
When I stopped and I caught the reaction and put it to the side and I go, actually, no, I love my wife. She's upset. Let's deal with her upset. And I chose to stay calm and collected and empathetic and loving. That would bring her down. I was like, I'm influencing everyone around me to be who they're being.
right.
I am. I'm the source of the world around me. Yeah.
So the other saying I love is our perspective is our remote control to our happiness. So like,
Yes.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean it
Exactly.
just like if we're
It's a great
seeing,
one.
right? If we're seeing like if all they're like, okay, so I'm gonna bring it back to dating world and I imagine
Yeah.
that you deal with that, but if all you're going to say is there's nothing but shit men out there and all they're gonna do is send me dick pics and it's just a mess, then that's all you're gonna get. That's all you're gonna get, like, because that's all you're
That's
gonna
all you're
see.
going to attract. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
100%. 100%.
yeah, if there's
Yeah.
only red cars on the road, you're only going to see red cars. Same thing. It's the
Yeah.
mind. The mind just does that.
Oh,
So
it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal, mate. And to
yeah,
build on that, some people say to me, "Oh, I believe in manifestation," and I say, "Look, manifestation isn't something you believe in. It's a process that's already happening to everyone." So you look at unhappy and anxious people, and they are focused on, this is the dominant thinking, is what's wrong and what if it goes wrong. So anxious people are future focused. What if it goes wrong? depressed, sad people are usually past focused. What's wrong with me? Why is my life not working? And that's it. And they're so focused on it, it's all they see in their environment. So the words we have swirling around our head are shaping what we see in our environment. Like you just said, when you think red car, you see red car.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you attract that into your life. So everyone's already manifesting everything in their life, what they want and what they don't want. And if they don't tune their mind appropriately, they're by default going to attract what they don't want. They're not consciously focusing their mind on what they do want. By default, they're attracting what they don't.
And how, but okay, so and how often would you say, and it's not like, I don't know if you can even put a number on it, but like people will say that, hey, I believe in manifestation, but their actions don't dictate that.
Oh yeah, well, that's like people say they believe in God and never go to church.
Right. Okay. All right. See, why you gotta call me out? Sam.
Yeah, well, saying something and living something is very different. Yeah.
Right. And
there's understanding something conceptually, and then there's being something. So I can understand happiness,
right,
but being happy is very different. I can understand manifestation, but being the manifester is very different.
That's fair. So let me walk it back to the world that I live in here. How often do you see, I mean, is this a major topic in like people dating and people finding their self-esteem when in the dating world?
Their mindset would definitely affect dating 100%. How they perceive themselves is going to impact how they behave, how they perceive whoever they're looking to attract. Let's say they're looking for females. How they perceive females is going to impact how they're behaving, how they're moving, how they're speaking, what they say, and that's going to impact the person they're aiming to attract. 100%.
I had a friend call me yesterday, and she had someone else on the phone with her, one of her friends that I've never met. She's like, "Oh, she's got all these stories. She should come on your show." And I'm like, "Well, let's talk real quick." And all she had to say was how horrible the apps are, how men are just awful, and it was easily a good 15 minutes of just, I hate men. I wish they would all die. And I'm like, well, you probably need to take a break, like she's like, I corrected his grammar and he couldn't understand that I didn't want anything to do with it. And I'm like, you need a hug. You just need a hug is what it felt like.
She would have daddy issues. Women who hate men have issues coming from their relationship with their father.
Okay.
They're either their parents split, or dad was an angry man, or dad beat them when they were little, or something like that. That's usually what's going on in the background. And then they're relating to all men through that relationship they had with their father, or their dad left. That's a common one.
I was listening. I'm just like, like what you want to, like, let's go back to mind shift and manifestation. Like you're just going to bring that in until, and by the end of the conversation, she's like, I think I'm just too angry. I'm like, don't know where you got that from. That's absolutely 100% accurate. Yeah, I think you are too.
Good. Yeah. Awareness and acceptance is the first step to transforming yourself. So that's great.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, like, if you don't know, like, I love self-awareness. Like, I'm a big fan. Like, I love when people say, like, I'm a sexy beast. And if you are, that's awesome. Like, that's self-awareness. If you look like Shrek, might need to talk. You probably look attractive to somebody else, but like, but whatever, good drugs help. So it's, but knowing what you're good at, it's good. Like, Kobe. All right. I'm an LA guy, and a huge Kobe Bryant guy, like, watched him when he came up and all that. But one of the coolest things, like I absorbed as much content as I could after he passed. They asked Gary Payton, if you're familiar, who they're like, what do you think Kobe's biggest strength was? And he said his humility. And I'm like, what? Kobe, humble? I don't understand that. And they would say he like he knew what he was good at, but he also knew what he wasn't good at. And when he wasn't good at something, he would reach out to people to try to help, like that was better than him, and help him out with that. Like Gary Payton for defense, Akeem Olajuwon for, so like that is like that is the, like there's self-awareness to me at its biggest peak to make you better at a certain craft. All right,
Yeah.
I am great here, but I'm not great there. Let me go reach out to this person and they can help make me be great. I think those things, you're talking about the best in the world becoming even better. I'm like, wow, that one made me kind of, I was like, that's dope.
Yeah, 100%. And if there's anything you want to develop in life to live a great life, it's self-awareness first and foremost. And I'm surprised at I'm surprised at how self-awareness training isn't one of the first things we're learning in school alongside English and maths. Like, why aren't we teaching people this thing that it is to be human and how it works for everything else?
Yeah.
And the way, if you look at a car, right, and you've never learned how to drive a car and you don't know what a car is, what can you do with a car?
You can maybe open the door. You're not going to drive it, right?
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do shit. But when you become aware of a car and you know what a car is and you know how it works and you learn how to drive it, you can go anywhere. You can get to where you want to be in life. Sorry, my dog.
Yeah. That's cool, man. He can make a cameo. That's all good. It's a family show.
If you don't understand this machinery that we are as a human being, and you don't know how to drive it, how it actually works, what causes your behaviors, your actions, your results, your emotions, your feelings, man, it's like being a passenger. You're just along for the ride, and hopefully you'll end up somewhere good.
Right.
I don't get it. Why self-awareness training isn't the number one training in life?
I dig that 100%. I would, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the hardest things people have is being honest with themselves about themselves.
Oh yeah, definitely. It hurts.
Yeah.
In the short term.
Yeah, I try not to have too many mirrors because I gotta look at myself in the mirrors is not always an easy thing to do. No,
I'm starting to enjoy that.
Look at you bringing sexy back.
Yeah.
No, I've always been a big Gary V. Like I love me some Gary V. And one of the things that he loves to say and really I think helped me out is I blame me for everything. Like, that way no one else is responsible for my happiness. No one else is responsible. Like, it's me. Like, I know certain things are out of our control, like if a red car hits me because I'm manifesting red cars, all right, that is kind of on me. But if I lose a job because of downsizing, that's not necessarily on me, but it's not anyone's fault. How I react is up to that. That's on me.
Yeah. That's the only way to live life. If you want to have a great life, that's the only way to live. Is fully responsible.
Yeah.
And the greatest leaders always are fully responsible. Responsible for their people, responsible for their nation, responsible for themselves, always.
Yeah.
It's the source of a great life and great leadership. So I totally agree with that.
I'm down. So help me, anything in the dating world. I know you don't, but I'm sure you've been around, you've heard stories back in the day that you can share for people who've been like, that was an interesting scenario that I might have been through as well.
Anything in the dating world. I was thinking earlier when we were talking about perspective and the impact it has on your dating. I had a friend and I was coaching in dating coaching as well. And it's so important to discover how you relate to yourself in the context of dating. It's going to have such an impact. What we discovered with him, he was terrified. He was from India, so darker complexion, a shorter man than most men. And he had a horrible self-image. Like, I'm short, I'm Indian, I have brown skin, white girls will never want to date me. Yeah, and that perspective had him hide away and avoid holding conversations and approaching women, and had him not do the work. And then because he wasn't doing the work, he wasn't then developing the skills and ability he needed to attract the type of women he wanted. So that further reinforced this negative mindset that he's not good enough. So it's so important to discover what you're already thinking about yourself and then throwing it out and creating something else. What we did with my friend, we got him on a training routine, started him training, and he started to bulk up, get big. That built his confidence. When that confidence started to build, he then saw that, you know, he could develop, he could grow, he could become something more than he's been. And he's just been on this, you know, this like a snowball. He's just building. He started his own business, ran it for a while. That built his confidence. He moved city. He's in a new area, got a new job. That built his confidence. So what I'd say to the people out there, find something you can develop yourself in, that you will develop yourself in, any area of life. And what will happen is you'll start to see that you can become something and you can change and grow. And then I promise you, when you keep doing that and adding to different areas of your life, whatever's holding you back now, you will break through and overcome. For me personally, like, I was terrified of public speaking, hated it. And I went off to be a tree climber and confront my fear of heights.
Oh, wow.
And 2 years after, I was terrified of heights, man.
I don't blame you.
3-story building, sweating bricks, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking gravity.
Up and down trees. Yeah, the ground hurts. Gravity keeps weighing me down.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I was up and down trees for 2 years, and I remember standing at the top of this tree. I'm blowing in the breeze. I'm overlooking Sydney City, and I'm like, "Holy shit! There's no fear. It's gone."
That's awesome.
And then I was like, "Man, fear is not forever. If I just face the thing I'm afraid of as often as I can, the fear goes away." And so I did. I went and did nude modeling at hens parties, you know, to build that confidence with women further, to build that being in front of people further. I did singing lessons.
No way.
To use my voice effectively. Yeah, I got on stage and sang. That was horrible. You know? and then I did public speaking courses, and my mindset was, I'm not a public speaker, and that's what was holding me back. And when I caught that and removed it and created, I am a public speaker, bro, I started winning awards. Wow. I started getting put on stage. Now I have a profession where I just talk and listen. So awesome. If you guys are in the dating world and you're feeling stuck, find something you can and will confront, something that will make you a little uncomfortable that you are willing to do in any area of life. Like, just keep looking to develop yourself, and I promise you will grow to a point where you can overcome the things that you're getting stuck in now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That goes to the get comfortable being uncomfortable. But then once you get into that phase of, like, you know, you didn't have to be the best singer, but you got up there and you sang, and you're like, well, I can do this, you know, and who knows, you keep going, you may, you know, end up the best singer. But like, that's so establishing steps of confidence to help get you confident in other areas, right?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It works so well, man.
I love that.
It works so well.
I love it, you know, and the thing that people forget or need to wrap their mind around is faith and fear are the same. Like, if it's just your mind, like, they're both invisible. They're both just depends on where your mind's going to take you to. If it's going to take you to faith and belief, then cool, I can do this. But fear, I mean, it's the same damn thing. And that's what people, I think, fall away
100%.
from.
They're products of your imagination. It's funny. It's like when you're a kid and people tell you about Santa. Santa's real when you're a kid, you know, you feel it, you're excited, he's coming. And then as an adult, you learn that he's not.
Right.
Like, well, I believe, you know, all of that existed in my imagination.
Right.
And fear comes from the same place that Santa Claus lives in, you know.
That's true.
You go, if I said, you know, I'm going to commit my life, I'm going to go to the North Pole, I'm going to find Santa Claus, what would you think of me?
I would say, man, I don't share whatever you're on. Please, would you share it? Because it's good stuff, right?
Yeah, you think I'm crazy, or wow.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the same thing as fear. We're crazy.
Exactly.
We think this horrible future is going to happen, and we feel the fear now in the present, and our imagination is running our life.
Right.
Crazy.
Right. And that's I love it, because that's like, like I mean, and we've all been through the cycle. Like you were like saying, back when you were 19, afraid of women, and then you worked your way through it. Like I went through a time when I lost, a wife, a mom, an aunt, a grandma, and like all within a couple of years, and things just went downhill. But then what snapped me out was the mind shift, so it totally changed it. And then ever since, like I had to go through that to I don't know, be a lot happier and accept a lot of things and forgive myself for a lot of things. I had to forgive myself for a lot of things. So
Nice, man. Yeah,
look,
that's powerful.
like I had to forgive myself for sending two different dates to my new buddy. So you like 8-2 and 8-3.
Yeah, you did. You were quite attached to that.
Oh man, I was like, he's got enough to spend his time. Um, so where can people find you?
You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can send me an email, haydnmg@gmail.com. That's Haydn, M for Michael, G for Griffiths @gmail.com. There's no E in Haydn. Just don't put an E in Haydn. I won't get your email. Yeah, that's the best ways to find me. You could Google me, Google Maps in the UK. Look up Haydn Griffiths. I'll be there. You can come knock on my door. Prefer, if you're a sane person, that's okay. The sane people probably won't do that. So I'm just attracting the
people's definitions of sanity are different, so be careful.
He told me to come.
But we're just going to chant outside his window for 45 minutes because that's what sane people do,
Nice. Yeah.
Oh man, I am so glad you and I stayed connected and had this conversation. It's been phenomenal. I've loved every second of it.
Excellent. Thanks, man. Yeah, it has been fun.
Yeah. I hope seriously in a couple months, let's do it again.
Yeah, sweet. Love to.
Yeah. Thank you for being along for the ride on the Swipe Wrong podcast. The show is produced by Jay Pelham. You want to reach out to us? We want to hear your story. 317-426-6616. Make sure to text, leave a voicemail. We'll get back to you. Shoot us an email at swipewrongpod@gmail.com. We are on Facebook, Insta, Twitter, YouTube. We are definitely out there. I am the host of the show. My name is Chaos. And please make sure to take a listen to us next week because the saga, it continues.